All right, let's get it. This is Nap Knows Buffalo, and we got the whole crew back with us for the second time now together, and the last time because since we have added Manny onto the show, things have just gotten super busy
I
for
quit.
Casey. So I'm gonna transfer it. Yeah, look, I made a
quit.
little speech at the beginning
Yeah,
that of last week's show that Casey had been fired, that he had quit
yeah.
because he
I
couldn't
quit.
handle the pressure
I
of
quit.
being on a show for a team that had lost 2 games already. And I
Yeah,
was joking, and then he quit. But he didn't
I
quit because we
quit.
fired him first. Isn't that right, Manny?
Yeah.
Yeah, we fired
Um,
him first.
you can't fire somebody who was never alive to begin with. But to get to your point, this will be my last show for a little bit.
A little
And
bit.
it is kind of sad, especially knowing that Manny just joined us. And it's Manny. It's not your fault that you're breaking up me and Kyle. It's not your fault, but it is. No, life just comes pretty quickly, and I started a new job. I obviously have a little girl that we all know about. Um, and it just got to the point where I was busy and I wasn't myself and I was angry and I was mad to do this show and that's just not fair. It's not fair for the content. It's not fair for the two guys that get up here with me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a hiatus. I'm going to focus on my family and I'm going to focus on my job. And I am not going to do anything with Buffalo Fanatics at least until the end of the year, which it sounds like a long time, but that's only 2 months. So I'm basically taking vacation for 2 months. And hopefully I come back in January and I'm refreshed and we're ready for a long playoff run. But if it goes past January, it goes past January. I just want to take a little bit of time to myself. I
So
do.
I
Well,
have a theory about
well,
this. I have a theory
just
about this.
let me
Okay,
thank everybody
okay.
first.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I do want to thank everybody that watches this show and will talk to me. People on Twitter who come to me and ask me questions or just talk shit to me. I really appreciate it. I do. I don't want to say fans. I think that's a dumb thing to say. I would just say just friends, and that sounds even dumber too, right? It sounds dumb, but at the same time, it's like these people, like, you're not fans of us. You know what I'm saying? You just want to listen and talk shit to each other. And when I started doing podcasting with Manny and when I started doing with Kyle, it was all about, hey, I just want to talk, right? I just want to have a normal conversation. Like, these people are with us when we talk football, and not, oh, I'm better than you, I have a microphone. No, it's like we're all just sitting around drinking a beer, having a conversation about football. So I do want to say thank you
Well,
to
you're not
everybody like
drinking a
that.
beer. To be very,
I'm
very
not drinking a
transparent,
beer.
you're not drinking a beer.
I'm drinking Canada Dry, zero sugar, because I'm an adult now. But that's all I want to say. I do want to say thank you, and I will be back. So
It
now you
sounds
can
like you're
say
dying. That's what
I
that whole thing sounded like. You're dying.
mentally I am. I'm so exhausted. I'm so exhausted. I want a nap.
So I do have a theory about this.
Okay.
I think you're just scared of facing the fire of next week being Jacksonville and you having the terrible take that Jacksonville was going to beat the Bills and have a winning record this season. And look, I'm not the one. I'm not going to bring this up. I don't want to bring it up. I have to though, because you're leaving before you could face the fire for it. I think that's why you're doing it. I think you're quitting because you're scared of facing the fire of your own bad take.
Kyle, you have my number. We can talk about this whenever. You can record our conversations. I don't care.
I'm not gonna.
I'm just.
I was about to say I'm not
going
to record our conversations, but what are we doing
and
right
we're
now?
doing it right now. Hey, this is a Buffalo Bills podcast. Let's get to some Bills talk.
Which it's funny you say that because the first thing that we're going to do is around the league talk, not strictly Bills talk right away.
All right.
We will get to the Bills stuff, but it was the bye week. Look, it was the bye week, and there's been plenty of. Yeah, we didn't lose.
We won. We won the bye week.
All right. Well, then let's start with that.
No one was on the COVID list. We didn't have anybody doing anything stupid, getting arrested, anything like that. There was really no stories that came out about the Bills during the bye week, which I don't want to be this guy, but that's kind of awesome news, right? Because you'll hear. Let's go back to the Giants, right? During their bye week on the playoffs, right? What did they do? They went to a boat. They haven't won a playoff game since they win partying on the boat, right? So it's little things like that. Hearing nothing about the Bills during a bye week is a huge win for us.
Yeah, sometimes the phrase is any news is good news or any like press is good press, but in this
No news.
scenario, no news is good news. So I'm with you on that. The Bills definitely won the bye week in that sense. But like let's just do this. Well, let's get across what teams or what thing we're surprised about so far this year, what team we think is overrated, what team we think is underrated, and then we will get into the rest of the show. And I was trying to look through this. The thing that surprised me the most, and I think this might take away some of your guys, but that's okay. The Cincinnati Bengals. I don't think anybody expected them to be as good as they've been so far this year. Some people probably still think that they're fake. Some people probably still think that they're a fraud of a team. I think they're for real. I think their defense is good. I think their offense is really good. And I've always been a fan of Joe Burrow, but I just didn't expect them to be this good this year. I thought it would still take a little bit of time, and they just put it together. I was completely wrong about their draft pick. Like I thought they should have gone offensive line. Very clearly, they should have gone Jamar Chase, and they were right.
I'm glad that you're a man enough to admit that you're an idiot.
I am man enough to admit that I was wrong. I've been wrong a time or two, and that was one of those 2 times. So I'll admit that. If you're only wrong every now and then, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not wrong all the time like some people on this show. But that's who I'm most surprised about. Manny, who have you been most surprised about so far this year? Or what around the NFL has surprised you the most this year?
I think I agree with you. I think it's Cincinnati as well. I thought they'd be a little bit better, like maybe a 500 team. I wasn't sure how good Joe Burrow was going to be after his injury. Like that's a devastating injury to come back to, but it seems like everything just meshed together for them this year. And Zach Taylor, as a coach, is doing a great job getting that team to work around what they have on defense and offense. So that's my surprise as well this year.
Casey, do you have a different one than Manny or I?
Well, of course I do. I'm not.
There we go.
Yeah, of course. In fact, I've got a couple. There's been so many different surprises in the NFL. I think the biggest obvious is Arizona Cardinals. We're just not going to mention they're the last undefeated team in the NFL. They're playing great football, not only on offense. Offense gets talked about a lot, but their defense is on fire. J.J. Watt, who we thought was old, can't do anything, leading the team in pressures right now, which is absolutely wild when you think about everybody else who's on that line, Chandler Jones, Isaiah Simmons, who's playing every single position on that defense. So Arizona is playing lights out, not just on the offense side of the ball. And then you want to jump over to the low-hanging fruit that we've missed out on is Kansas City. And Patrick Mahomes just blowing up before our eyes. And everybody's giving him the excuse of, well, it's not his fault. He's trying to do too much because the defense sucks. The defense always sucks in Kansas City. They don't really get right until about mid-season. Patrick Mahomes is just getting caught doing stuff he's always done, which is thrown across the middle of the field, which you should never do, right? And he does it in interceptions, or thinking he has to do too much because he's Patrick Mahomes and I've won the MVP and I've won the Super Bowl, blah, blah, but it's catching up to him. So those are the 2 biggest surprises. And then Detroit being the only undefeated team, the only team without a winning record.
Is that a surprise at this point?
It is a little bit.
I mean, you clearly didn't expect Jacksonville to be one of the teams that was defeated at this point.
I did. So Detroit, man, it just seems to me like, and I love Dan Campbell. I like Dan Campbell when no one else did. Right? He came on, he was Detroit Lions head coach, and Steve Mathis over there at the air raid hour was like, oh, bad decision. They should have hired this guy. Look at this idiot. Judge just does not like Dan Campbell. I don't know why. Maybe he likes him now, but
he doesn't like biting kneecaps. I think that's what he's anti-biting kneecaps.
Well, he's also pushing for Eric Bellamy to get a haircut job, stuff like that. Don't get wrong, he deserves one, right? But still, Dan Campbell got the job. It is what it is. Let's see what he can do. Dan Campbell has so much passion, and the players love to play with him. And this is not just Detroit. This is going back to Saints, when he played with the Saints. He was the assistant head coach there with the Saints. Players loved him there. Go all the way back to Miami when he was the interim head coach for Miami. Players love to play with for him in Miami. And I honestly thought that Miami was going to hire him after that season because of how good of a job he did. So, yeah, seeing Detroit struggle like this, is kind of a surprise to me. And just as a teaser, San Francisco struggling is kind of a surprise as well. Kyle Shanahan, the greatest offensive coordinator, greatest offensive coach out there, or so he's held to be. But he's always gotten supposedly, but he's always got an excuse in the bag, which is, oh, well, I don't really have an elite quarterback. Well, we drafted you an elite quarterback. Well, he's not ready to start. He's a project. Okay, well, why draft him, right? Well, he's a project. We're going to let Jimmy G do. He's got so many excuses, but really the only thing he's good at is running a zone concept, which is what he's really great at, but he doesn't have a quarterback to do the bootlegs. So, yeah, those are my surprises.
I got to be honest. I'm not surprised by Detroit. I'm just not. I'm not surprised.
A couple of heartbreakers that
they did
could have gone other way. They lost a couple.
They took the Ravens down to the wire.
Campbell cry a couple of times.
But I'm not surprised that they're not a good team this year in terms of like wins and losses.
I didn't say.
I'm just not surprised.
Surprising that they're not a good team. I said surprising that they haven't gotten a win yet.
Yeah,
that's what shocks me is that they're still one of the. They're the only team. They're the only team.
But they're also, but they're Kyle, also still Detroit.
Kyle, were they the team that you thought would be 0-7 or 0-6?
If I had to pick a team, or if I had to pick teams that could potentially be winless at this point in the season, they would have been on the list.
No, you only get to pick one.
I honestly expected there.
For me, it was the Jets.
I honestly expected there to be more teams that were winless at this point in the season. I didn't think that it would be that everybody should have a win by now. And that's why I say they would have been on my list of teams I would have expected. It would have been them, it would have been Jacksonville, and it would have been the Jets. Those three teams. I thought those were the bottom three teams going into the season. I think they still are. But those would have been my three teams. I'm surprised that Jacksonville and the Jets got their win, or at least as the season's gone along, I'm not as surprised by Jacksonville's. But
breaking news that y'all won't hear until Friday. We record this on Wednesday. Speaking of J.J. Watt, who is leading Arizona in pressures, he is now undergoing season-ending injury on his shoulder. So he's having surgery.
He's having surgery? Wait, what?
Season-ending shoulder surgery. Breaking news brought to you by your boy. So he is out for the Thursday night game.
That's the second time that we've broken news on this show.
These are the things y'all are going to miss when I'm not here. It just is what it is. You'll just have to find out like peasants, I guess. I don't know.
All right. Well, so the listeners have gone from not fans, not friends, to peasants. So take that as you may, I guess. Shout out Casey just being disrespectful on his last day.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Not watch me?
All right. Yeah, I guess that's, you do have every right to say that. Yeah. Just for the record, I don't think they're peasants. Manny, do you?
No, I don't.
No, I think Casey's a peasant, though.
Yeah, I think if there's
moving on. All
right, underrated team. Who is your underrated team?
Can I go first? Because Manny's just going to repeat whatever you say. The Raiders. The Raiders are. What do you say?
Underrated.
Underrated, man. They are underrated. I said it, and I think you said it. I don't know about that. Like 4 weeks ago when I was like, "Hey, man, Raiders best team in the AFC." Right?
I said no. I think what I said, because we did games when they were 3-0. I think what I said was, I think they are a contender in terms of they can make some noise and potentially get into the playoffs, but they're a pretender in the sense of like they're not actually a real threat to go anywhere once they get to the playoffs. So I think they're a good team, and they'll win games, and they're definitely rejuvenized after their coach getting fired for good reason.
Even before that,
but they have a good squad. Yeah, they have a good squad.
But the reason why I say they're underrated is because of that right there. You think that they're a contender because they'll make the playoffs, but you don't think they'll make noise in the playoffs.
And that's fair.
Right? So
that's fair.
And I think they're underrated because a lot of people see that. They're thinking, oh, same old Raiders. They'll do this, they'll do that. When's the last time the Raiders actually made the playoffs? Does anybody know? Jack Del Rio was the coach, right? Which was the coach right before John Gruden. But it doesn't matter. That was what, 2000 and
that was 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah.
2017.
It was the year that Derek Carr had his MVP season until the last two games. Yeah,
broke his leg against Tennessee, I think, or the Colts, something like that. Somebody in the AFC South, but it doesn't matter. Like it's just they haven't made the playoffs in a while. They haven't gone to the Super Bowl in a very long time. right? 18 years now? 18, 19, 20 years?
It was
Man, you're
what? It was
old.
the
Yeah,
'03. It was '03, I think.
Raiders.
18
Oh,
years.
03?
Yeah,
18
it was.
years?
I mean, it was the Bucks Raiders Super Bowl. It was '03. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and people look at it like that, and it's like, oh, it's the same old Raiders, right? But they actually have a really, really good squad. So I think they're
Max
underestimated.
Crosby.
I think.
I am
Yeah.
so disappointed that the Bills did not end up drafting him in when he was available. Like they passed on him multiple times. Obviously, he was a guy that I think a lot of people in the Bills content community or whatever at that point in time wanted. He has just turned out to be a slam dunk of a pick.
He has 47 pressures on the quarterback, which is more than 6 teams.
Yeah,
One man has
it's
more
impressive.
pressures than
It's
6
impressive.
NFL teams. Like that is stupid. And the play that he had against the Eagles, where he went just straight Troy Polamalu, jumped over the line, grabbed Hurts and drug him back. Awesome play. I just think they're underrated and people aren't paying enough attention to them.
That's fair. All right, Manny,
Go
I'll let
Raiders.
you go first.
My underrated team is Indianapolis Colts.
I
know they're 3-4, but
I had them on my list.
I think if Wentz stays a little healthy throughout the season, I think he's a good enough quarterback to win you games and get you in the playoffs, and can even upset a couple of teams in the playoffs. I think they got a good O-line. I think they have one of the best as soon as they're healthy. They got a great defense. Like, I'm a huge Darius Leonard fan. I think he's a stud of a
maniac.
linebacker. And they got a good defense. It's an underrated defense. Like, if you want to talk about underrated team, there's an underrated defense, which is Indy. I think they've had some bad luck, but I think they're starting to heat up, and I think they play Tennessee next, and that's going to be a great test to see how they do with Tennessee.
Are the cardiac Colts back?
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I don't know about that. But I do agree. I think they're an underrated team because they definitely could make a push, make the playoffs, and I mean, if they can get their defense officially figured out, they have enough pieces on offense to score points.
Yeah,
as long as Carson Wentz isn't doing those like weird Carson Wentz things.
Crazy Carson.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, crazy Carson. As long as he's not doing that,
I think as long as he's healthy, I think Frank Reich. Like, I know he has that.
Buffalo
couple
legend.
of bad game management. Like the last.
Yeah, he's lost me money far too many times.
Yeah,
this year.
but I think he's learning like Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott started off as a bad game manager too, and I think Frank Reich's on that step too. And I think, he's got a QB as a coach, and I think that'll help Carson Wentz kind of settle down a little bit. And I agree with you. They got enough offensive weapons that they can score points, and the defense will get it back together.
Yeah. Okay. I have two. I had two more. Indy was one of the teams on my list. I'm sorry to do this, but I'm putting the Chiefs in my underrated category because at some point they could get it figured out. I'm not saying that they will, but they always have that potential. When you have Patrick Mahomes, when you have Travis Kelce, when you have
Are they making
Tyreek
the playoffs?
I think they'll make the playoffs. I do.
At this point, no, I don't. I don't.
I think they'll make the playoffs.
Manny?
I think they'll be a 7 seed.
They have a tough schedule. Like I looked at their schedule. They got some pretty tough teams. I say if they make it, it's going to be that 7th final spot. But I
don't think they're winning a division or anything like that. But I think they could make it as a wild card still because I know Mahomes has had like bad interceptions. Their offense looked absolutely terrible against the Titans. But they still can put up points. Like, it's not like they're an actual bad offense. They have some issues that they need to get solved.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
it's just okay. So it's just like the Seahawks the last couple of years. They've had a really bad offensive line. They've had a rough defense after the Legion of Boom kind of ended. But you have a really good quarterback in Russell Wilson, and that covers up some of those issues. So they have that kind of component to him with Mahomes where I really don't care if people don't like hearing it. He's still that type of guy who can cover up those issues. It doesn't matter if he hasn't had his best year or whatever. It doesn't matter if he's had some bad turnovers. He still can do that for them. So they're one of them. The other one that I have is the Detroit Lions. because they're not underrated in terms of like they should be winning games, but they're underrated because they're covering spreads. I think they're 4-3 against the spread. So for that sake, I have them as underrated. For timing purposes,
the winless team, and now they're underrated.
In terms of covering the spread, they are. Yeah, they cover the spread.
Moving on. Yeah.
Spot the lie. They cover the spread. So
no,
overrated. Who do you have as overrated?
The Ravens, easily, and it's not necessarily Lamar's fault. I just think everybody expects them to win because it is the Ravens, but they have 17 guys on IR. They're not going to be a good team this year, and that sucks for Lamar. He's in a contract year. Do I like him? No, I don't. But I can't sit there and say he's not a good quarterback. He's a really good quarterback. He's just not my style of quarterback. But it sucks for him. He's in a contract year and he's got 17 guys on IR. So I'm really sick of hearing people say, "Oh, well, we've got the Ravens. Ravens are going to be really." No, dude, they got 17 people on IR. Like it's going to be really bad. Credit to Lamar for doing anything behind that offensive line that's lost both their tackles. So. Yeah, they're overrated, the Ravens.
I have the Browns for similar reasons because that team has a ton of talent and they'll still win games and they're probably going to be in the playoff picture at the end of the year fighting for a spot. I don't know if they'll get one, but that's because of all of their injuries and because as good as their roster is, I just don't believe in Baker Mayfield as a championship winning quarterback. So for that reason and that reason alone, I think they will always be a little bit overrated. Even if their roster is incredible, which going into the season it is. I still think that they're going to always be a little bit overrated because if your quarterback is not good enough to carry your team at some point, which I don't think he is for like more than a game or two, you're not going to make it far enough in the playoffs. Usually. There's going to be some freak things that happen, like you could get a Joe Flacco Super Bowl championship, but that's not the typical outcome. Manny, who do you have?
Joe Flacco's elite. Go ahead, Manny.
Joe Flacco's elite. You're right. That was a bad one.
Why would you say that?
New York Jet legend Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco, yeah.
Casey We're going to be playing him saying that I copy Kyle, and I had Cleveland on my list, but everybody knows that
you hate Baker.
You hate Baker.
I hate Baker.
I think I agree with you, Kyle. He's not a championship caliber quarterback. He's maybe good enough to take a team to a playoffs, but that's about it. And that's if he has players around him. He has a really good defense around him, and he's got 2 stud running backs, and now 3 after last game.
Great commercials, though.
Yeah.
Really
his commercials are good.
Really good commercials.
Really good commercials. So I like Baker. I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
I do too. I like Baker, but I don't think he's good enough as a quarteback to actually carry a team. So it's different. I like him. I like his personality.
They'll never win a Super Bowl.
Fiery.
I love him.
There's my. As long as he's the quarterback in Cleveland, they will never win a Super Bowl.
Does it matter?
That's fine.
As long as they don't have 17 losing seasons again. Do they really care at this point?
All right, winner and losers of the week. We got it because we do have to keep this moving. Winner and loser of the week. Who won the week?
For me, I got 3 people. I got
just one. We got to. I'm sorry, man. We've already definitely gone longer on this than.
Is then for me, it's the guy who got the ball from Mike Evans in the Tampa Bay game.
I think this is a terrible pick, but go ahead.
No, because
I think this is a terrible pick.
Honestly, for me, like if I had Josh Allen's ball and it was his 600th touchdown, I'd probably give it back to. I would. It's just
immediately. I wouldn't have the guts to sit there and negotiate.
I would everybody in the crowd.
Everybody in the crowd is like, you gotta give it back. Blah blah blah. I would here like pay me.
The guy, he's my quarterback. I'd give it back to him, and I'm sure that he would do exactly what Tom Brady has done for him, and I'm sure he'll probably meet Tom Brady and everything. So
he gave him a Bitcoin.
Okay, so hold on though. You got to think how like a Bitcoin. I think right now is at like 60,000, 66 maybe somewhere around there.
That's a lot of
that
money.
ball. If he held on to that ball, that's the most valuable football in NFL history right now.
Yeah, but it's also
one of the most valuable footballs in NFL history, and you traded it for season tickets, a jersey, and then
Couple of
Tom
jerseys.
Brady was like, by the way, I'll throw in this Bitcoin. That's cool. It's awesome in the short term, but he is losing out on so much in the long term. Anybody who's talked about this has been like, yeah, no, he should have kept that ball because of how valuable it is.
man.
Tom Brady himself said he should have kept the ball.
No,
Look,
Tom wanted the ball back. He was going to get it no matter what.
No, that's fine. But when Tom Brady even says,
if
that
I
guy
was in that guy's shoes, and
that ball is valuable.
If I'm a huge Jim Kelly fan, diehard Jim Kelly fan. If Jim Kelly threw that touchdown pass, I would give it back to Jim Kelly.
You're a better person than I am because I'm holding on to that ball.
That's all it is. It's about being a better person, I guess.
He was in Tampa. Do you really think he was going to make it out of the parking lot without being robbed? Let's just be real, right? So
I think you take your chances.
I think you take your chances. All right, moving on. Who's your loser? Was that your winner or your loser?
That was his winner of the week. Yeah, it should have been the loser, but that was his winner of the week. All right, Casey, your winner of the week.
My winner of the week? Can I do loser? I didn't have a winner.
Okay, let me do my winner then. Do you want to make your loser of the week Manny again? I don't know what your reasoning would be, but you just go 2 weeks in a row. Manny's your loser of the week.
No, I've got an actual loser. I thought.
All right, well then we'll make Manny your winner of the week. Congratulations, Manny.
Thank you.
Good job, Manny.
All right, my winner of the week is Jamar Chase because of how great he has been all season, but then what he did to the Ravens defense and what he did to Marlon Humphrey specifically. Like, he's a good cornerback. I think he's only let up like 150 yards to a wide receiver before, and Jamar Chase put up 200 plus on him. Just destroyed him. And to go from what he was in the preseason, where people were literally questioning if he could catch an NFL football, to having Randy Moss and Justin Jefferson's records that they set as rookies on notice, like this early in the season, it's extremely impressive. So he's going to blow those numbers out of the water completely. The pace that he's on is just insane. He is my winner of the week, Jamar Chase. So
he was on my list too. So.
Nice.
You don't make lists.
Yeah.
Casey, loser of the week.
Loser of the week is Tua. Tua is my loser of the week. And this is why, because Tua did just enough to not be successful for the Dolphins to be like, all right, we got to call Deshaun Watson. Like, we got to trade for him. He did just enough to not be successful. So Tua just probably lost his NFL starting job. He's probably going to be a backup. He'll probably be a backup in this league for a very long time. I mean, hell, Josh Rosen is still in this league. He's kicking the tires down there in Atlanta. He's on like his fifth team. So Tua, it was awesome. Can't wait to play you this Sunday. Give you another embarrassing loss. It sucks to suck, but just moving on. Take that paycheck as a backup. You make tons of money as a backup in the NFL. So it's no hard feelings, man.
Yeah, I mean, career backup's going to make a lot of money. A lot of money. My loser of the week is Mike Evans for accidentally giving away Tom Brady's 600th touchdown pass and costing Tom Brady a full Bitcoin. Like that, I don't think that's being talked about enough. I get that Tom Brady has endless money, but Mike Evans, if he doesn't accidentally hand that ball away, none of this is a story. None of this matters. Tom Brady's not out of a Bitcoin because he feels like he needs to. The Tampa Bay Bucks don't have to have this whole thing where they're negotiating with a fan. The fan doesn't look like an idiot for giving the ball back. Like, Mike Evans you got to just have a little bit more wherewithal. I know that's his thing, give the ball to the fan when you score a touchdown, but it's the 600th touchdown. That's insane NFL numbers that it's going to be a long time before anybody else gets to that point. You got to have a little bit more wherewithal, you got to think a little bit more before that. But yeah, Mike Evans is my loser of the week for giving that ball away.
Speaking of numbers, Josh Allen only needs 18 more touchdowns to hit 100 touchdowns, I believe. And he can do it this game. He needs to average about 2 touchdowns a game to get that. So just a little fun fact.
Did you say he could do it this game? Because that would be
this year. So he does. He needs 18. Josh Allen needs 18 more touchdowns to reach 100 touchdowns. He needs to throw at least 2 touchdowns per game to get there. Sorry, I was doing a little bit of research, not for this show. Don't care about this show, but for other people. So,
all right, Manny, your loser of the week.
After last week, people talking about MVP, 80% completion percentage. Lamar Jackson came all the way back down to under 50% completion rate last week. He was 15 for 31, played a below average game in my eyes, and he came back down to earth like how I always predicted he would. He's good. He's a really good quarterback. He can do a lot of things. But yeah, he's my loser of the week just for that.
That's fine. He didn't play well. He did not play well.
No.
For time purposes, I will not say anything.
You don't want to go in more on Lamar for time
okay.
purposes?
For time purposes, I'm okay. Everybody knows where I stand.
Yep. That is true. If people have listened to this before, they definitely know where you stand on Lamar. But you're a big Jalen Hurts fan, which is interesting. Just interesting. Just gonna throw that tidbit out there as you're leaving.
I like.
Just don't get that. We do have a bet. We do have me and Casey. We do have a bet that Jalen Hurts will not be the starting quarterback for the Eagles next year, and they will be drafting a quarterback in the first round. Casey thinks that Jalen Hurts will be the starter, and they won't draft a quarterback. I think that's just absolutely insane, and that's part of the reason why he's not on the show anymore, if we're being completely honest. So, bets. Do we want to do bets?
Yeah, well, we might as well. We're already 37 minutes into the show, and we haven't done one thing right.
32. All right.
He's lost.
Casey. Oh, a little recap, I guess. Let's do a recap of last week's bets. We won't go through individual games, but Manny. Manny was 2-3. Manny is 6-9 since week 5, which is, I believe, that's when he joined the show. 6-9. Nice. I was 3-2 last week, winning week. Nice. So this is the thing that bugs me. I was actually 9-2 last week. I was 3-2 on my best bets. I had one of my best gambling weekends, but it doesn't count towards this. That bugs me. Is that I won my only losses were part of my best bets. That sucks. But I'm 8-7, so I'm winning on the year so far. Casey absolutely crushed it. 5-0, 11-4 since week 5. And by the way, Casey, even though he's not going to be on the show, he will still be sending in his picks, so we'll be able to continue this throughout. Casey, do you want to go first or do you want to go last for your picks this week?
I do. I want to go first, but I also want to say I did not listen to the show last week. I was very busy. How many of y'all? Two of y'all. Which bet did y'all talk shit about me not getting? Yeah, because I know you ran through my bets real quick, right, on the show. Yeah, who talked shit about my bets?
We didn't. We just gave your picks real quick.
Yeah.
We didn't really do anything. I didn't have any reasoning for your picks. We just gave them out. Yeah. Just at face value. Here's what Casey gave out. And if the people rolled with you, they won. But yeah, it was Manny. So Casey, go first.
Okay, so the first one that I want to do is really the Thursday night game, but I'm not going to. I want to do Carolina Panthers against Atlanta Falcons. So sorry. Edit this out, Kyle.
That's staying in. Yeah, that's staying in. I'm not editing that.
I want to do Carolina Panthers against Atlanta Falcons. It's Carolina at Atlanta. It is a divisional game. They always play them close. It is a 3-point differential, which most games end in a 3-point differential. I like the dogs on this one. I do like Carolina. Atlanta does not have a good defense at all. Now, does Carolina have a good offense? No, not really. Sam Darnold is not doing great these past 3 weeks, but if they can get back to the basics of what he was doing the first 3 weeks, hey, we can do something, Joe Brady. So maybe stick with what's working with your quarterback, not trying to change it. So I like Carolina in this one. I also like Carolina's defense. It's kind of underrated. They did exactly what the Bills did. They built up that defense while still searching for that quarterback. So I like Carolina. Moving on, I've also got Detroit plus 3.5 against the Eagles. This is Detroit at home, which doesn't really matter. It's Detroit, but they've been playing a lot of close games. They are due a win. They took my biggest reasoning for where this is the fact that they played LA very, 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 very hard this past week. And I think that they're going to continue to do this. And I think they're probably going to get a win this week. So I like Detroit there. Who else did I have? Bengals minus 10.5. I think that was a given. They're playing Mike White, who I had to actually Google the other day. I mean, that's the situation there.
He was a part of the 2018 draft class. Would never have known that.
And it would never have known. Never at all. So Bengals, don't have to talk about that one for long. That one's a hammer. If y'all don't have the Bengals on your list, you're an idiot. Moving on. Who else did I have? Oh, Giants plus 10 was my other one. Was that 5? Did I get
that? Was
5?
4. That was 4.
Yeah.
Oh, so I got to pick one more. Oh,
Yep.
I don't know. Let's say Dallas minus 1.5. I mean, I know Dak has a hamstring injury, but Dallas and come on now, that defense is actually playing pretty lights out. So,
all right, we'll throw that on there. I mean, that kind of fits how you made your picks last week. Just look at it real quick, throw it against the wall, and hope it sticks.
Arizona minus 6.5 on Thursday night. Too many injuries to Green Bay. They're not going to be able to keep up.
Look, this comes out after, so one of us is going to be right, one of us is going to be wrong. I'm on Green Bay.
Of course you are. But you know
I'm on Green Bay. I think 6.5 is just too much for Aaron Rodgers. But whatever.
And that's why your record's 8-7. Mine's 11.
That's why I have a winning record. I have a winning record. Manny, on the other hand, does not. Manny, let's see if you can have a winning week this week.
Okay, I am 6'9", and so that is a good number in many ways. Yeah. So I'm going to start off with the Bengals at 10.5. Like Casey said, that's pretty much a given against Mike White and the terrible Jets, who were my other losers of the week.
Started 1-0. Good job.
Yeah. I got the Giants plus 9.5. I think the Giants had a great game last week against the Panthers, who have a really good defense. And I think as they get healthier, they'll get a little bit better. I think Giants covered that. I got Indy money line. So Indy money line is probably my, if you want to call it, upset of the week, I guess.
Did you take that early in the week, or did you wait until the line moved? Because it would have been a little bit more beneficial to take that money line earlier in the week, but the line's moved. It's a pick 'em right now.
Yeah, it's basically a pick 'em now. Yeah, but no, I picked them later on. But
okay,
I got Indy money line. What is that? 1, 2, 3, and I got the Steelers at plus 3.5. I think they can get that pretty easily. I think Roethlisberger and Deontay Johnson, I think that's a good combo, and I think Najee Harris will probably have another great game. And that TJ Watt guy, he's pretty good, like his brother.
He's okay.
And yeah,
he's
all right.
And I got Bucks at -6 as my 5th one. New Orleans, yeah, we saw them.
Doubting Jameis, I see.
I'm always doubting Jameis. I know it's a
40 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Revenge game, but like, who's he throwing to?
Yeah, nobody right
Kamara.
now. Marquez,
Kevin White. Kevin White, former first-round draft pick. Kevin White.
It's like Kevin White, Callaway, and
just activated off the off the practice squad. Kevin White.
He's
that
basically
guy?
that one, yeah.
Like even his tight ends, Troutman and Johnson, like.
But that defense is playing good, and they will have a very hard battle against Tom Brady. But I agree with you.
Yeah,
I'm on Tampa as well.
Yeah.
All right, so we do have a little bit of overlap here because I have the Bengals covering the 10.5. Also, I mean it's so. How can you not? I don't love the fact that all three of us are on the Bengals. I'm going to be completely honest, but how can you not go against a random quarterback starting for the Jets? So it was almost impossible to not take that. And if you wait too long, like by the time the show comes out, it could be like a 12.5, 13.5 point spread, depending on how fast the line moves, because people are just going to absolutely hammer the Bengals. So yeah, I hope people got their picks in early. But I have Titans and Colts going over 50.5. I don't think the Colts defense is good enough right now to the point where they can slow down the Titans offense. The Titans offense, who has nobody on the roster that you have to worry about, according to previous weeks on this show. But I think you have to worry about some guys on that offense, and I think the numbers might show that. But I like that. I like that game to go over 50.5. I think the Colts can move the ball against the Titans and score some points. I think the Titans will be able to control the game and score points. But I think they're going to end up you've seen last year, they had some real back and forth games that really went like real high in total points. So I like that going over. I have the Bucks. I got a little bit different line than you. I have it at 5.5, which makes me a whole lot more comfortable. I don't like taking lines that are just the straight number. I'll do it, but I like it when it's the half better, obviously. So I got them at 5.5. I'm just trusting Tom Brady in that offense. I know the Bucks defense is not that great. I don't care. This is one of those games where I don't care. I don't care that it's a divisional game. I don't care that the Bucks defense isn't all that great because it's their passing defense isn't all that great. And Manny, you said it. Who is Jameis throwing to right now? Nobody. So I think the Bucks will be able to cover that. Even if it's a close game, they should still be able to win by a touchdown. I have the Rams covering 14.5 against the Texans. I went with the Rams last week. It was one of my losses. I don't think they can disappoint 2 weeks in a row against two really bad teams. The Lions. I don't think they can disappoint 2 weeks in a row against really bad teams. The Texans made a trade. Some people on the team are not happy about the trade of Mark Ingram. I think that team is just not – I think they're not all together. I don't know how you could bet for them to cover that line. I think the Rams are going to be pissed off that they didn't play better last week. So I think they come out fire, and I think they just absolutely blow them out of the water. They can't disappoint me 2 weeks in a row. I just don't think it can happen with that offense, especially against the opponent. Well, sometimes people are wrong. Then the last one I have is the Jaguars +3. I don't trust Geno Smith to cover 2 weeks in a row now. I know he has a history of covering spreads, but I don't trust him to cover a spread as a favorite. That's the thing that really bothers me about this one. If it was flipped, I trust Geno Smith to cover it as a dog. I don't trust Geno Smith to cover as a favorite. So I think it's just going to be an ugly, close game, kind of similar to what we saw last week. I think this is one of those games where maybe Trevor Lawrence has one of his coming out party type of games. I don't know. I don't have any real good reasoning for why I'm on this game, but I just could not, when I was looking at all the lines, I couldn't stop looking at the Jags +3. So I went with it. I got to roll with my gut there. That's where I'm at. So we'll see. We'll see how these all go. All right, Bills. This is a Bills show, guys. This is a Bills show.
What?
Yeah, I know,
What?
right? Crazy. Crazy. This is a Bills show. Bills, Dolphins. Second time they've played this year, obviously just absolutely slaughtered the Dolphins the first time. Are we expecting something similar? I guess we'll just start there.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be pretty much the same story as it was when they played in week 2, was it? So.
I think the biggest thing that the Dolphins have is Xavier Howard.
Yeah.
But one man against 16,000 weapons on offense isn't going to cut it. So, yeah, it's probably going to go very similar. And I think this is a game that, like, after the game, we start hearing the whole, okay, Deshaun is moving to Miami. Like, he is on his way to Miami. They have until Tuesday.
I don't think that's – I don't know if that's going to be able to happen this year or not, because they said it's not happening until his legal stuff is all resolved. And they've also said they're nowhere close to getting all of that fully resolved. So I just don't know. It could happen anytime. I could be just dead wrong. But at the same time, if they're saying we're not trading for him officially until his legal stuff is all resolved, if it gets resolved, I just don't know how they can officially make a move for him after saying that.
They also said that they were waiting for the league office to hand out discipline. And Roger Goodell said that there's not enough evidence to put him on the exempt list, which means that he could potentially play.
Well, Roger Goodell also won't put out the findings of everything with the Washington football team. Just scummy in this whole thing. So let's not trust Roger Goodell.
I'm not on Roger Goodell's side. I'm not on Deshaun Watson's side. I'm not on any of that bad stuff side, right? I'm just saying that there's a lot of gray with this. Like, yes, they could wait until all the legal procedures are done, which could take 2-3 years. I mean, honestly, it could. We know how the court system is here in the States. Manny, you don't have that luxury up in Canada. I'm sure they just, whether they do hanging still or do they do a firing squad? I don't know. I don't know how to do stuff in
You don't have the death
Canada.
penalty for that penalty got abolished a long time ago. Man.
Do they send
just
people to Australia? Like, I don't know what goes on in Canada.
No,
but like what I'm saying is there's
I just
tons
think
of
I don't
gray
know
area.
how the Dolphins can
Tons of
trade
gray
for
area.
him before his legal proceedings get
no,
finalized.
they can't.
After
They
saying
shouldn't.
that, had they not said that, then I wouldn't have been shocked. If they trade for him before all of that stuff is finalized, after saying that, I think that's a really tough look for the organization as a whole. I don't know how you work through that. So
It's not the best
none
run
of that
organization.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
It's
None
not.
of that
It's
matters
not.
though, because he's not on the team this week.
Yeah, I think also with the game, also that second week we were still kind of questioning Josh Allen too. He was still getting his kinks out of his passing game too. So I think a more
Kinks?
whatever you know what I meant. There's my word of the day. But like his passing game is a lot better now. We've seen it in the last few weeks, and I think that is going to be a big difference. We shut them out last time, and Allen was not the normal Allen we were used to. So that's going to be a big difference this game too. So I think they're going to pile up the points again.
All right, so Manny, I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself from when the Bills played the Titans.
Yeah.
Who on the Dolphins offense
Yeah.
do the Bills have to worry about? Is there anybody on the Dolphins offense that the Bills have to worry about?
Yes. It's Gesicki. Gesicki's always had, for some odd reason, he's always had good games against the Bills. He seems to do well. And I think they need to shut him out. I think if you can shut him out, you can pretty much shut Dolphins out, I think. So I think Gesicki is the key to shutting down the Dolphins.
I mean, he's definitely one of the players on that
Yeah.
list of like you have to be able to stop them.
Yeah.
Obviously, none of their offense matters if Tua doesn't get going,
Yeah.
and that's like a whole caveat to all of this. But I do think their
Gesicki
offense
is
still
key.
has some good players, even
Yeah.
outside of Gesicki.
Yeah.
Gesicki is I love watching him play. I hate watching him play against the Bills just because of what you said. He seems to always have good games against the Bills.
Yeah.
I will throw another name onto that list, which is Jalen Waddle.
Cop out.
He is in a weird position because they're not using him the way they should.
Yeah.
I saw somebody, I don't remember who it was, but I saw somebody say they're pretty much turning him into like Jarvis Landry, which is just such a dumb thing for them to do with the type of player he is. But he still has that game-breaking speed. So he's a guy that you have to watch out for even a little bit. I don't care if they haven't utilized him the right way. That doesn't mean he's still not the talent that he is. So he's still a guy that you have to be able to game plan against. So he's a guy that I would throw in on that list. Casey, do you have anybody else that you would throw on that list?
Devontae Parker.
Yeah, he was the other guy I had.
And it, like you said, it all goes back to can Tua even get going, which can he? Like against the front that the Bills have. We saw what happened last game. And sure, they've jumbled around the offensive line, and sure they've gotten healthier at the offensive line, but who cares? Right? I just don't have a lot of confidence into it to get going. I guess the best thing they could try to do is establish the run and try to do play action. But I mean, come on, they're not going to. So
yeah, if there's anybody else that I would throw in there, Myles Gaskin is still a good football player, but
they have weapons.
Yeah, I mean that's the weird thing about them. I know Sean McDermott said it. They seem like they're so close because of all their first round picks, and they do have talent on the roster, but it feels like they just haven't built the roster out enough around that talent the right way, which is really weird to say, but you see it happen all the time. It's hard to build a roster the right way fully when you're not like they've accumulated talent. They just haven't built out the offensive line the way they need to, and then God knows what's going on with the defense.
Is it just Tua then?
No, I think it's the offensive line too. Yeah. They don't have a good offensive line.
Deshaun Watson's going to have a heyday when he gets there. They're going to actually win the game. So
they have, and that's why they have good weapons. They're just I don't know. I think people probably also jumped on Brian Flores as a great coach a little too quickly also, but we'll see.
I like him as a coach.
I don't
I do. I'll
dislike
say
him as
that.
a coach. I think he just got too much credit for one good year, and then
But
it was. I don't know.
you look what
I just
happened when he
don't.
actually
I
had a
don't
competent
think.
quarterback back there. Like I hate to just
But they
keep
were
dumping
going
on
back and forth.
Tua.
But they were going back and forth.
Yeah.
It's not like
But
Tua wasn't starting the games for him, and I'm
Sure.
not a fan of Tua either. I
Yeah.
have no problem with just dumping on Tua, but he was still the one starting games, and Fitz only finished out like 2 or 3 games for him. He still won a lot of their games, so I don't know. It's weird. I just don't totally trust Brian Flores as a coach at the moment because it doesn't seem like they're doing everything right. On defense, we already mentioned Howard. Is there anybody else on the defense that the Bills
No.
have to worry about?
Jalen Phillips, breakout game.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, were we wrong about Jalen
Yeah.
Phillips having a better season than Rousseau,
That's upsetting. I love Jalen Phillips. Xavier Howard's their only playmaker on defense. They have drafted
Byron Jones?
that defensive line. Sure, I get it, but Xavier Howard's the
Jerome
only one
Baker?
making plays.
Christian
Xavier Howard's
Wilkins?
the only one.
It's
Xavier
it's
Howard is
another.
the only one who is making
Holland
plays
is
this
pretty
season.
good too.
I mean, and
Yeah.
they've got
Holland
these
has been
household
good.
names.
Yeah.
And Holland, that's their rookie safety, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
he's
they've
had a
got
good
these
year.
household names, right? But when you sit back and you actually watch the games, the only one who's consistently, I think, popping out is Xavier Howard.
Yeah.
So,
And that's why I don't totally love Flores as a coach, because I do think that their defense has some good players. Once again, I don't think they've built it out the best possible way, but they
Who's the,
have some good players.
you just missed it. Is it Christian
I
Wilkins?
said Christian
Is
Wilkins,
that-
yeah.
Yeah, you just mentioned him. He's having a pretty decent year.
Yeah,
So,
he is.
Christian Wilkins. I mean,
Yeah.
look at our offensive line. It's still not the greatest. So Christian
Yeah, I mean, if you have a defensive lineman who can get some push there, it's something you have to consider. And how are we going to game plan against that guy? Because as we saw against the Titans, one guy can wreck a game plan. It happened. They happened to have multiple guys that did it on different plays, but Bud Dupree had a good game coming off of the Bills' right side of their offensive line. Jeffrey Simmons had multiple big plays blowing up the line of scrimmage. Like, the Bills' offensive line is still not fully there, and we don't even know what's going on with Spencer Brown right now with his back injury. Like, is he going to be good to go, or are the Bills going to have to revert to their old offensive line with who is playing in their old positions? Like, how is that all going to look? We don't know at this point in the season when we're recording. So that'll all be really interesting to kind of watch how it plays out. But all in all, Dolphins have some good players, but the Bills are just a better team. Better roster, better coach, better quarterback, better wherever you want to look. They're just better.
They're still the best team in the AFC.
I agree with that.
I know they lost to the Titans, but they had 2 touchdowns called back, and we know the 4th and 1, we still had a chance to win that game, even though Derrick Henry ran all over us. So I still think the Bills are the best team.
So what would be the key to the game? If you had to give one key for the Bills to win the game, what would that be?
Just keep scoring. Gas pedal, just move that ball and keep scoring. Don't let them, don't even let them have a chance to get back in the game. Just keep on scoring and make Tua then be, make Tua uncomfortable, because he has to win the game basically for them. They can't really rely on their run game, or play action might not work after that. If the Bills are scoring every offensive drive, then they got to change their game plan.
Casey,
don't get hurt. Like
way to put that out there now. Way to put that out there now.
Stay healthy. Like, I don't know.
Jeez.
Stay healthy. Yeah,
if you know, by the way, now if there is an injury, like it's on you.
Oh, that's fine. I'm on a hiatus. How are you gonna find me?
Well, we'll find you.
Okay. I think Both of y'all have my addresses. Oh, that's scary. No, but Manny said it right. It's like, hey, keep doing what you're doing on the offense. I'd like to see the offense continue to progress, continue to get better. I'd love to see the defense to stay at the same level that it's saying that right now. And if they do that, then Tua's not going to have a chance to actually move the ball downfield. Dolphins defense is going to struggle against Josh if he continues to take the open receiver instead of forcing the ball down the field. Just staying, pulling himself back a little bit and being like, okay, well, let's just consistently get into the flow of the offense, do things the right way instead of just going for the home run every single time. I just want to see that progression. And outside of that, it's just like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I had be yourself as one of my keys because I think if not to you. Not you. No, but if the Bills just play the way they should be able to play, like I literally just said, like they are, if you go position group by position group, if you go coaching staff, if you go wherever, the Bills are the better team as a whole, as individual units. It doesn't matter. The Bills have the better players. If they just go out there and do their 111th, they're going to be fine. They just have to actually do that because we saw against the Titans, they didn't necessarily do that on defense, and that ended up causing problems. The offense, the defense, they all just got to go out and do their 111th. They'll be fine. The other one I think always plays against the Dolphins is the defensive line disrupting Tua. We all saw what happened. He wasn't obviously out there the whole time, but if Tua is disrupted, if they get in his face, if they make him go off his first read, I feel like I'm saying the same thing that I said the first time they played against him, but it's still true. He's not a good quarterback if he can't hit the first read. Just get in his face and disrupt him. This would be a game where I would love to see A.J. Epinesa have the type of game that he had against the Dolphins week 2 or whatever it was, except for get home, finish, and get a couple sacks. So there's going to be some opportunities. The Bills just have to take advantage of that. Next thing would be prediction. Game prediction. Your mic is muted, Casey.
So you said, and I'm going to let you finish, but you said that the coaching staff, and you just go by position, blah, 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 coaching staff, the Bills are just better. I want to pull that back because there's somebody on the Dolphins.
Head coach. We'll just go head coach.
No. Okay. Well, no, you can't pull it back.
Either way.
No.
I don't know enough about the Dolphins coaching staff as a whole, but head coach.
You can't pull it back now that I've done some research.
Okay, go ahead. Let's do this.
Their quarterback coach is a little bit better than our quarterback coach. I'll say it.
Okay.
Do you know who their quarterback coach is?
No, I have no idea. That's why I just said let me pull that back and say head coach.
He was hired for the 2021 season. This is his first year as a quarterback coach. It is the legendary Charlie Fry.
Okay, so moving on.
Moving on. What was the point of that?
He just wanted to throw Charlie Fry out
Fry
there.
Is?
Legendary Charlie Fry, but he
was a third-round draft pick by Cleveland in 2005.
I just don't care when it's either way, doesn't matter. Okay, so sure, maybe they have a better coach somewhere.
23 starts.
Maybe they have a better coach somewhere.
For the Browns of 2006.
My point still stands. The Bills are the better organization. They have the better players. They have the better whatever. Point still stands.
Degree in science from Arkin.
Oh, you are so fired.
Game prediction.
All right, predictions. I have a bunch of different individual predictions, player predictions. What do you got, Manny? Give us a player prediction.
I got Emmanuel Sanders scoring 2 touchdowns. I think last time he had 2 touchdowns was against the Dolphins. I think it happens again this game.
I mean, there's enough players that the Dolphins have to worry about that it's not like that's like out of the realm of possibilities. We've seen it happen before. It could happen again. Yeah. I mean, Emmanuel Sanders, 2 touchdowns, entirely possible. Casey, what do you got?
4+ turnovers for the Bills defense.
Do you think the defense gets back on track?
Yeah, I think they get back on track and they earned a couple of turnovers. If you remember the first game they played the Dolphins, they won the turnover rate by a lot. So I'm going with that one. I think the turnover rate is still going to be there. Special teams touchdown?
I actually had that listed as a potential one too. I I'll just give that one then, I guess. I think the Bills get a weird score. I don't know what that score is, but I do think that the Bills get a weird score. It could be a punt return. It could be a kick return touchdown. It could be a safety. I'm not going to throw defensive touchdown on there as a weird score because I don't think that's all that weird when you're going up against Tua. And just the way he's not like a risky quarterback, but he could definitely make some mistakes. So I don't think that would be a weird score. But then I'm also going to throw in Reggie Gilliam, Deion Dawkins, and if he plays, Spencer Brown, potential for a touchdown this week. One of those three guys would be my weird score for a player.
I could see that.
I like making this prediction every now and then during the season that just like the Bills are going to run a trick play for like a weird player.
Yeah.
We all said before the season, Spencer Brown could be like that pseudo tight end role where it's like a blocking tight end. The blocking tight. You said that yourself, Casey. Don't give me that look.
I was about to.
He could be used as an eligible receiver.
I was about to say he played tight end in college before moving to tackle.
There you go. He could be used as an eligible receiver. We've seen Deion Dawkins do it before. And then Reggie Gilliam, we just haven't seen that goal line carry for him yet. You never know.
And McKenzie is due. the guy's due.
Second in the league in punt return average.
Boy, was Casey wrong, huh?
I was always right.
I'm still sitting on.
Still sitting on. Wait, can we revisit your preseason prediction for Stevenson?
Not right now.
Five return touchdowns. Five return touchdowns.
What's his stat line? 0, 0, 0.
They're big fan of him in the future, but 5 return touchdowns, Casey.
How many games do we have left?
How many games does he have left on the active roster? Because he's still got to get pulled up.
Okay.
Shout out to Stevenson, though. I like him as a future piece of this team. I've said that from the start.
He's never come on the show since I'm leaving.
That's probably true. All right. Over-under. Right now, I think the over-under that I had last I saw is over-unders at 48. Bills are favored by 14. That could have moved since I last checked, but that's what I have it right now. So give us why are you making that face? Has the line moved?
Yeah, the over I got is
I thought I had him at
49.5.
Okay, so it's moved more. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you have for the spread right now then?
14.
Still 14. Okay.
I'm looking at it. I've got plus 13.5 by FanDuel.
Yeah, I mean it's all going to change depending on the site or the sports book that you're using too. So that we do have to mention that. But okay, so 14, 13.5, we can roll with that. Either one. I don't like those lines personally. I made this promise that I'm going to stay away from the Bills spread as opposed to Bills money line as dogs. They're just not going to be in that position almost the rest of the year, maybe once. But I'm not going to. I don't like this. I don't like the spread at all. It makes me uncomfortable because I don't think the Bills are going to get a shutout again. I think that's like you just don't see that happen. I think the Bills are going to put up a lot of points. I think the Dolphins are also going to be able to put up some points, whether that's garbage time points or not. I don't really care. I think the Dolphins will be able to put up some points against the Bills. I have my score prediction at 38-24. So I think the over gets demolished. But that's right on the line where I wouldn't want to bet the spread. So that's where I'm at. Where are you guys at with this one?
I got the Bills 34, the Dolphins 17. So that's basically over and covering 14, basically. So I do see the Dolphins scoring a couple of touchdowns, maybe early in the first or second. But I think the second half is where the Bills take over and they dominate. So, Casey?
Yeah, so this is a home game for the Bills. So I'm going 33-6. I think Tua gets them just close enough to get 2 field goals, and I think the Bills actually get a safety. I'm with Kyle on this one. I think they get a safety.
Weird score there. Yeah, I like that one.
You want me to tell you how it's going to happen?
I was going to say, what do we think about Josh Allen this week? What are we expecting from him? Because he's historically been great against the Dolphins. Even his rookie year, he's been really good. Like, what are we thinking another week where he is offensive player of the week?
Yeah, I say 4 touchdown passes.
I'm not saying 4 touchdown passes, but I could see 4 combined touchdowns.
That was another one of my potential predictions that I was going to use is he's going to have 4 with one of them being a rushing touchdown. So I like that one because he's just it's like Aaron Rodgers with the Bears. He owns them. Dolphins. I talked about this last week.
Yes.
Josh Allen has the potential to 5 years down the road be able to just say, I've owned you my entire career.
Yeah.
So I think he's just got another potential AFC Offensive Player of the week coming up.
I also think they're going to do better in the red zone. I think you're going to see that's.
How do they do that? Like how do they improve in the red zone? Because they've just struggled so much this year, and it's been different.
I think what Casey was talking about, like when I said 4 touchdown passes, when he said that it might be combined, I think you're going to see Allen try to run for more in that 10 to 12 yard line, where he's going to get outside the pocket and he's going to run instead, where teams now have to be sure that either they're going to have to spy on Allen or he's going to throw it. So I think they're going to use a little bit of Allen in shotgun and maybe running bootlegs and just seeing if the spy comes towards Allen, he can throw it. If nobody's going to come after him, he's going to run it. So I think that.
Well, I was going to say better concepts in the red zone, I think, is the biggest one. Maybe simplified concepts in the red zone, because you see other teams, and I'm going to point out 2 of them right now, and that would be Las Vegas and LA Rams, where they run both Hunter Renfrow and they run Cooper Kupp in these quick little passes, where it's not a pick because the wide receiver is not blocking more than 5 yards down the field. So it's just a simplified where 2 receivers clear out the cornerbacks, and Cooper Kupp or Hunter Renfrow they're able to squeeze in there. It's a quick pass, throw it to them, boom, touchdown. Just it's quick, simple things like that. This is a copycat league, and you're looking at these people doing stuff like that with Hunter Renfrow and Cooper Kupp. And then we've got people like Emmanuel Sanders who can fill that role, and then we have people like Cole Beasley who can also fill that role. You know what I'm saying? And we have strong receivers, and we've done it.
We've
right?
done it. We did it with Diggs last year. I've saw it
exactly.
So many times with Diggs.
That could also be like Manny said. Isaiah McKenzie might be due to have like a play because he hasn't really been involved in the offense a whole lot. We saw them run it with Dawson Knox.
I would hate to see a jet sweep on the goal line.
Why not? Right?
That.
Like
I hate that. I hate that in the fade.
Yeah, but
the fade. You know why it worked, Manny? Because we were holding. That's why it worked.
Technically, it didn't work.
If we weren't holding, he would have been stopped a long time before he got in.
What do we think about? I just thought of this, and it would kind of suck, but also just like it'd be nice because it would happen. But like, what do we think about Josh Allen converting a 4th and 1 in the red zone this week? Like, do we think it just happens because like, it could have happened the previous game and now it happens? Really?
He's got to look dead at the camera and give that look. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, I can't.
Like that would just be too perfect if it's like, okay, how did the game end? And then you're going to do the exact same thing, except for you're going to convert it this week. Yeah. It would suck. It would be stupid, but at the same time, it's like I'm glad he got it. Cool.
Yeah.
You'd have to laugh if that happens.
Yeah, you would. Definitely.
You would have to laugh. I mean, yeah. I think that would be like a weird prediction type of thing. Yeah, Josh Allen converts 4th and 1 on a QB sneak. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Casey, do you have any last words? Considering you are done after this.
No, I mean, I said everything I want to say. I will miss it. I will. I hope I miss it a lot to the point where I want to come back in January. I think that's the ultimate goal. But I know Manny's gonna kick ass. So I mean, the ultimate goal was for Manny to come on here and join us, and then I said,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Yeah,
deuces."
I was kind of shocked. I was like, "What's going on here?"
Manny, let me
not-
let you in on another secret. He's actually quitting because of you. He
It's
never
a-
wanted you on
he
the
said
show. It was
that.
my idea. He said he didn't want you on,
I
and
know.
now that you're
I
here
know.
and you've made the show more often than he has, he's like, "No, man, I'm out. I can't deal with Manny."
It's the exact opposite where I'm like fighting for Manny and Kyle's just dragging my name in the mud. Whatever, it is what it is. No, I'll miss it. I'll probably continue to go and look at YouTube numbers and like the show and comment and stuff. I probably won't listen. I'll definitely comment. It's good for the YouTube algorithm.
Oh, classic Casey. All right. Well, look, if you decide you want to come back before the end of the year, obviously we'll have to talk about it. We'll have to consider it.
We'll have to talk
Not
about
full,
it.
not full.
Yeah.
Welcome back too soon, but we'll consider it. Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
We'll take a
talk about it.
resume and a cover letter.
Hey, you don't get a vote in this matter.
I don't know. I think he might. I think he might now. Yeah, I think he gets a vote in this.
Whatever.
Yeah. All right. Let's end the show with one more Go Bills. Manny, you'll go first. Casey, you will end it out. Let me get a Go Bills.
Go Bills. That was
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Casey, you're fired.